everybody. Excited to join you today. My name is Brandon Andrews. I'm with Values Partnerships, and we lead a nationwide casting tour for ABC Shark Tank focused on bringing more diversity to the show. That means more women, more people of color, more folks from the LGBTQ community, making sure that the diversity in the audience watching at home is reflected in the entrepreneurs that are pitching on the show. We can't do our usual national tour of in-person casting calls this year. So instead, we're doing a series of virtual conversations with some of our friends and partners and Shark Tank alums, where you get to hear about their experience and, of course, get some tips on casting. Excited to be partnering today with the Center for Black Innovation out of Miami. They have been incredible partners of ours over the past several years, and we've had a casting call in Miami previously, and was excited to work with them on that. And then, of course, looking forward to getting back down to sunny Miami when things are open. I want to introduce you to Denasia Reese. I'm sure some of you already know her because some of you are from the CFBI network, and she's going to tell you a little bit about the work that the Center for Black Innovation is doing. And from there, we'll go into a conversation with Yve-Car Momperousse, who is the CEO of Kreyòl Essence, a Shark Tank alum. And after that, we will have the opportunity for some of you to come up and pitch your business for some feedback. And of course, we'll talk about Shark Tank casting and how you can get connected there. So Denasia, would love to, thanks for partnering with us today, and would love to learn a little bit more about Center for Black Innovation.
Brandon, thank you for having us. Thank you for extending the invitation for us to partner up. You know, we love you and love the work that you've done with Shark Tank over the years, and many, many more ways that you've created opportunities for folks. My name is Denasia Reese. I am the Production and Partnerships Manager at the Center for Black Innovation, formerly Code Fever Miami / Black Tech Week. Actually, the company was started about 7 years ago now, which every time I say that, I'm like, what? But the first Code Fever programs, the first Black Tech Week, all happened in 2014. From there, we have moved forward and now have rebranded in the last year as the Center for Black Innovation, which under that umbrella is still Code Fever Miami. So that is our digital education initiatives for young adults, children, and other professionals. So we've done coding boot camps, we've done hiring boot camps, like any sort of digital literacy resources we've brought to our community in the last 7 years, and we'll continue to under Center for Black Innovation. Black Tech Week, which is our annual conference event that happens in Miami every year. We have been doing that for the last several years. We've actually toured that event. So we've done that in Kansas City. Well, Black Tech Weekend, which is a sort of micro version of Black Tech Week. We have done that in Kansas City, in Tulsa, New York, Los Angeles, Philly. I'm sure I'm missing a few. I always do. But we've been around the country, and hopefully once things are safe again, we'll be able to go around the world with that event, bringing opportunities to Black and Brown entrepreneurs everywhere. A few things we have going on with Center for Black Innovation this year. Every Thursday at this time at 1 p.m. EST, we do our Zoom sessions, our Black Tech Week office hours. This week, we're sharing that with the Shark Tank crew and with Brandon and Yve-Car, and I'm so excited about that. But we're actually here every Thursday. So some weeks we have conversations about funding, about investment, about resources that we can bring to entrepreneurs. And then some weeks we highlight folks and talk about special topics. We also do weekly programming on Clubhouse. So at 6 p.m. on Mondays, we do weekly programming on Clubhouse where we have rooms talking about all things Black and innovative. This Monday, we'll be talking about financial literacy. Next Monday, or the following Monday on April 5th, we'll be having an NFT conversation. So we're really curating the Clubhouse vibes based on what's going on, what people want to talk about. I enjoy those conversations a lot. And then we actually are about to announce, but you'll maybe hear it here first. Maybe I mentioned it in the previous couple of weeks. We are going to be doing a virtual Black Tech Week, June 14th through the 19th. So incorporating that weekly programming that we've been doing, plus some other special stuff and conversations that we're planning out now and partnerships that we're forming that I'm really excited about. So that is the Center for Black Innovation. I'm actually going to drop a couple of sources in the chat. So one, we are launching an accelerator next month. Applications for that are still open. We are looking for Black founders who are ready to accelerate their businesses. We're hoping to bring in more people who have licensed companies, who have ideas that are already up and running, but we're also open to folks who are not quite there yet and seeing what we can do to accelerate you based on the idea that you have and whether we're excited about it and we can support you in its growth. So that link has been dropped in the chat. And then I'll also just drop in our Instagram because that's just a great way to stay in touch with us, right? And then our website obviously is linked to the accelerator link. So that's the Center for Black Innovation. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I hope you'll come back and join us next Thursday and Mondays on Clubhouse and follow us in all the things that we're doing. And I will turn it back over to Brandon now.
All right. Thank you so much, Denasia. You all are doing incredible work. I love seeing my friends not only grow over time and see their businesses, see their organizations grow over time, but love seeing the impact grow over time. And I definitely know it is. Something else that I love seeing is entrepreneurs that we connect with actually make it onto the show and pitch successfully. We meet several thousand entrepreneurs every year. A lot of entrepreneurs have incredible businesses. Like I know many of the attendees have incredible businesses, but not everybody makes it on the show. We hope that through doing events like this, that we're able to add some additional value for you. But our goal is always to make sure that we're bringing people to the forefront, to the show, on set, so that we have that representation, and also hopefully that it helps with their businesses. Yve-Car Momperousse is one of those entrepreneurs that we met a few years back. She pitched at a casting call that we held in Brooklyn, actually at a space called the Gentleman's Factory. She went through the casting process and then made it on to season 11 of the show and pitched successfully. You're going to get an opportunity to hear her story and also learn again a little bit more about some tips for casting. So Yve-Car, welcome to the conversation. Welcome to our virtual tank, as we call it. How are you doing today?
I am good, Brandon. Thanks so much for having me here, and hello to everyone who is on this Zoom call. I'm excited to get into our experience being on Shark Tank because it was amazing.
Yeah. So let's start with you and your business. What pushed you to start Kreyòl Essence? I think every entrepreneur has some kind of inflection point or some kind of moment where they say, this is something that needs to exist in the world. What was that moment for you?
So I started Kreyòl Essence after having what I call a hair catastrophe. I was going to an event. I wanted to look my best because I was in the market for a husband. So I went to my hairdresser. I asked her to straighten my hair, and she did a fabulous job. She did so good of a job. I found the husband, Stefan, my COO. But the bad news is when I washed my hair the next day, it all fell out. So after crying like any good millennial, I called my mom and I said, what's that oil you used to use in my hair when I was growing up that solved all of our problems? And she was like, oh, l'huile masquiti, which is the Creole way of saying Haitian castor oil. I lived in Philadelphia at the time. I went to the store thinking I could find it, but everything I found on the shelves had hexane, bleach, and other additives in it. So I was like, Mom, could you please send me some from what I call the Haiti stash or the immigrant stash? It's things you cannot get readily available in North America. And she sends it to me, and it's like in a Haitian rum bottle with tape all over it. And I jokingly said, how is it that something that is so precious to us that, it's a rare commodity you have to beg people for, that you can't find it, and the only way to get it is in a rum bottle? So I said jokingly, I should, create a business that, sells Haitian castor oil so that if anyone has the same challenge I did, they have a remedy for it. And I was joking because I was at Penn at the School of Government. I was not going to start a business. And she said, actually, it's a great idea. And when we started to think about not only the need, but also the social impact we could have, the fact that we would have to employ farmers to, plant the seeds, because we have to extract the oil from seeds, the idea that we could help to hire, hundreds of women, because women are, in Haitian culture, the tradition is that women are the ones who process the oil. This idea that we could export the product, and a little nerdy, but when you're thinking about a country's GDP or how to help economically, export is really important. And, Stefan and I are very passionate about changing the relationship people have with Haiti. The thing that most people hear is it's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, but not knowing that it's the most biodiverse countries in the Caribbean, and the fact that there are so many riches for it. And then lastly, because I think it's important for an entrepreneur to really be connected to what they sell. I'm a beauty junkie. I love products. So I'm glad there's a business I get to be a part of where I get to play around with hair, skin, and body products all the time, and really ensuring that that the products are also safe and that they're healthy, because many might have heard, in a study, particularly for products that are geared towards Black women, they're found to have endocrine disrupting ingredients in them. So that means those who are looking to have kids, those who are dealing with hormonal issues, really the idea that you can achieve the style and look that you want, but in a healthy manner. That's super important to us as well. That was all the reasons why I started Kreyòl Essence.
Yeah, well, that is an incredible, incredible story. Sometimes I wish we had a little bit more time in the segments on Shark Tank to get into these founding stories, because there's always so many layers and such richness that's there. I'm definitely glad that the oil worked out for you. Stefan is certainly a lucky guy. You always look great when I see you, and I use the product too, so I love it as well. Yeah, what an incredible founding story. So Damon John, on Shark Tank, has said multiple times on the show and off the show that mission-driven businesses, that businesses that have some kind of positive social impact at their core, are the future of business. I think you're definitely a representative of that. And also, if you look at actually the top revenue generating businesses in Shark Tank history, the number one business is actually a mission-driven business. It's a B Corp called Bombas. It's a sock company that kind of uses that Tom Shoes model, where for every pair of socks they sell, they give away a pair. They say that for the homeless population or folks that have some instability, that socks are one of the most requested items. So they've been able to not only have a significant impact when it comes to that population and making sure people have the resources they need, but they've also been able to grow an incredible business. When you think about top businesses in Shark Tank history, and Damon, John was the investor there. So definitely on trend. Now let's talk about Shark Tank. When did you hear about the show, and what got you interested in potentially pitching to the Sharks?
So around the time that, for years, everyone always said to me and Stefan, you guys should go on Shark Tank. And we're like, yes, sure. And we were avid watchers of the show even before we started our business. Like, it's one of those things in our household that we religiously watch. And around the 5th year of our business, it's a big deal when a business lasts 5 years. It's like you made it through that hump. And I started to say to myself, there's some things that I thought perhaps we weren't ready for, or that fear was having us hesitate to do. I said, you know what, this is the year that anything we wanted to try, we're going to go for it. So we were actually supposed to go to a casting call in Miami, but unfortunately I was flying to meet with retailers. And I got home exhausted, and an email came across my desk from the Gentleman Factory that said, that they're going to co-host a Shark Tank casting call in Brooklyn. And I'm looking and I'm like, I am not getting back on a plane. I'm not doing it. I'm like, that's crazy. And I said, okay, I'm going to tell Stefan about it. And he's going to co-sign and say, yeah, you've been traveling a lot. You need to be home. And as I was looking at the location, I was like, God, it's in Brooklyn. That's where I'm from. And then I was like, it's in a Haitian-owned establishment. I was like, God, is that you? These are all signs that say I should jump on a plane. And then when I said to Stefan, here is the email around the casting call, but we missed Miami. I don't think it's, going to be wise to just jump on a plane to Brooklyn to go just for the casting call. And he said, what does your gut say? He's like, let's follow your gut. Like, darn it, my gut is saying jump on the plane and I'm exhausted. So I jump on the plane. I missed my connecting flight, thought about going back home, still got on the connecting flight, was supposed to stay with the mentor, booked a hotel, and said, I am making it to this casting call. And from there, that's, got there early in the morning. Brandon's smiling face was there, along with the team over at the Gentleman's Factory. And that's how I heard about the casting call and sort of the rationale about why I should just go, because it's something that we wanted to do for so long.
Wow. Well, what an incredible story of determination from an entrepreneurial perspective for you. Thanks so much for sharing that. And, thank God for Stefan pushing you in the right direction to make sure that you were able to take advantage of the opportunity. I think there's something to be said about, one, the determination, but also about, supporting another business owner that you said, the Gentleman's Factory is owned and founded by a Haitian brother. And so supporting him, being able to connect there, sounds like that was an important part of it as well. But yes, so glad that despite the missed flights and despite you being tired and all of that you made it to the casting call and were able to successfully pitch to be on the show. Now, let's talk a little bit about the casting process, about the lead up to the show. So the first step for you was pitching at the Gentleman's Factory at our casting call there. After that, most entrepreneurs will submit a video. How was that process for you, and what was the feeling like when you got the call that you were going to get invited out to pitch to the Sharks in LA?
So Brandon, first off, like after, pitching in New York, in my mind, I won, because I'm like, I did it. I'm like, I'm done. They don't need to call me back. I made sure that I got this done. So when, I got home, the thing is, I didn't expect for there to be more of a process. So then, there's an application, there's additional video that you have to go ahead and send. And the application process is by hand. I don't know if that's changed, but you've got to fill it out by hand, which was an interesting process because I think it's like 50 to 100 pages. Do not be alarmed. You'll know the answers for your business. And I think the other process for us when we got the email was to think about, how do we pitch? Because now for the video, I said, well, should I include Stefan in it since I went by myself the first time? And, I received good advice. Whoever you think you want to pitch with you on set, make sure that the video is representative of, all those individuals. And so Stefan and I deck out the house. We set up, a backdrop, and we do a practice run in like jeans and a t-shirt. And then after that, we do another one where I get all dressed up, do my hair, makeup, all that. And, we send it to the producers and we say, here, you guys have two options. We like to give options. And they said, you know what? We actually like the one where you guys are in your t-shirt and jeans. And I'm like, so why did I do all that? Got all dressed up. But I think the point was that in that first one, we were relaxed. We were ourselves. And it actually flowed well, and it wasn't scripted. We were telling our story, and that's what, the producers connected with. So I think that process was helpful and important to remember what's important, which is to tell your story, to be authentic, and to make sure that you allow yourself to be a bit vulnerable in terms of your experience, because that's what people connect to.
Yeah, being authentic, definitely can't underscore that part enough. As people, I think we always want to put our best foot forward. We always want to use, Haitian castor oil on our hair to make sure it's popping, to make sure it's looking good. But I think especially not only in business, but especially when you're talking about entrepreneurship, just being your authentic self and getting whatever you can out there as quickly as you can to get the feedback and to share with your audience, I think is incredibly important. So yeah, that's great. The process is a multi-step process. So the first step is usually some kind of casting event. in this virtual environment. We are doing some of these virtual events, but you may be connecting with somebody like me. So it may be an email, or it may be a phone call that you have. The usual next step will be submitting a video. And then from there, you fill out a larger application and kind of go through a diligence process with the show. And Shark Tank is almost like a mini accelerator, in that at the end of that process, you're going to know your business the way you should know it, but the way you might not know it because you're so busy running your business day to day. But you got invited out. You made it through all of those steps. You got invited out to LA to pitch in front of the Sharks. For those of you who haven't seen her pitch, definitely look it up. If it's not on YouTube, look it up on Hulu. I know the episodes are available on demand. But your pitch had a little bit of everything in it. It had highs, it had lows. It had some great negotiation, I think, from to standing your ground on the eventual deal that you got. But walk us through the process of getting prepared for the show and pitching on set and what that was like.
So after this, as you said, Brandon, after you go through your video and you go through, putting in the paperwork, as an entrepreneur, you actually go back to business, right? You're kind of waiting to hear, are you going on to the next step? And we were actually at a trade show, one of our biggest trade shows, the first one we truly invested in. And we were doing speed meetings. So I had a meeting with a retailer every 10 minutes. And then we got a call from Shark Tank that says, we need both of you on the phone in order to have this discussion. So I'm telling the retailer, I'll be right back. And going to speak to the Shark Tank producer, which I love because you also create a relationship. So I'm like, Sly, what happened? Are we getting on? What's happening? And then he's like, congratulations, you're going on. And Stefan and I are screaming in the middle of the trade show because we're super excited. And then we're kind of like, crap, that means we need to prepare now. This is going to be more work. So afterwards, our preparation process, which I really love the way the Shark Tank producers worked with us, is that there's accountability. So essentially we get homework every week. So Shark Tank becomes our second job in addition to running our business. But I think it is important because it helps to ensure that you're prepared by the time you get in front of the Sharks.
Right.
So
sometimes people will say, do you ever just put people out there for comic relief, or put people out there that are unprepared because it'll get better ratings? But no, that is not the case at all. We try to set everybody up for success.
I get asked that question a lot. Like, how much of it is staged? I was like, I wish more of it was staged, because then we would know what was happening. I'm like, this is all real life, emotional things occurring. But I appreciated the fact that we had deliverables every week with the producers, and I think the most help you're going to get is to think through what is your opening statement and how you present your company, and the idea that you want to make sure that you grab folks' attention, which is important. But after that, you're not told what questions to prepare for, what to do. But I think many Shark Tank alums have written about what are the questions you need to prepare for. So I think I spent lots of time going online and reading through those questions. I watched a horrendous amount of Shark Tank videos, especially for the companies that are similar to mine, to understand each of the shark preferences, what types of businesses they tend to invest in. If you spend enough time watching the videos, you get a clear idea of what's a good ask, what is out of the realm of possibility. So really doing that research and practicing was part of our prep process. I'll say the other thing that was extremely important for me is that I did find a few alums that had already been on the show. But one of the tips that I will give to folks, I never contacted another Shark Tank company without already knowing what my questions are. Shark Tank alums, most of the time, especially if their business is growing, they're super busy. So when you get 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes of their time, just like anybody else, be clear on your questions. What support do you need? And I think there you'll find that you have a community of people who want to rally around you, which is very different than just saying, hey, can you tell me how the Shark Tank experience was? Because it's like, what aspect of it do you really need support in? And I found tons of support from those who had been on the show before. before, during, and after our airing.
Yeah, it's definitely a supportive community. And I definitely agree, though, no matter what opportunity you're going after, you want to be as specific as possible, and including for Shark Tank, having an idea of which shark you want to work with and why,
Yeah.
because this isn't just a capital exchange where the shark is going to go away. This is a business relationship that you're starting. And so you need to know whether it's the distribution that you need assistance with, or whether it's packaging you need assistance with, or if it's IP protection, or you're looking at doing some kind of licensing deal, whatever it might be. Different sharks have expertise in different areas. And so really important to know that you not only want to be on the show and that you want to get a deal, but who you might want to get a deal with, who you might work well with. So you appeared on the show, you were under the lights, pitched your business. How did it feel pitching your business on the show? And then to end our conversation, want to hear what you've been up to since appearing on the show.
So it was surreal. I think one of the things I didn't expect is that the music is not playing when you walk down that aisle. So yeah. Stefan and I, we hummed it, dun, 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 because you're expecting it. Even in, on our practice videos, we're just it just feels wrong not to have it. But it's amazing and surreal once you get on that carpet, because of course there is practice. And then, something our producing team said to me, and I think I even carry it through today. They said, whatever you do, don't stop fighting. Make sure you fight for your business. Do not stop. Yeah. And, Stefan and I spent the whole night preparing. He was buying flowers at Walmart to set up the stage. And, you're nervous. And I'm thinking, all right, crazy ladies, sure, fight when you get on there. But part of what happens when you walk down that, that hallway and you get in front of the sharks, after your opening pitch, then you forget the cameras are there. Honestly, I forgot there were cameras. I forgot there were lights. There's a place you're supposed to stand. Half the time Stefan was pulling me back because I like to touch and talk to people. He's on your mark, but I'm fighting for my baby. They don't understand. I need to get a little closer. So just like any other investor pitches, if you've done them, it becomes a conversation about your business, and it's very much the same questions that you need to be able to answer. I would say the difference is that you have maybe 5 very rambunctious sharks who are throwing all the questions at you at the same time. So do not be alarmed. And I think another tip that was good from our producers for us is to command the room and make sure you can say, thank you so much for your question. I want to address these 2 people, then I'll address this person, but to be calm and really to command the room, and to also do so with respect, but with confidence, because it's your business, it, and be able to truly talk about your numbers, be able to bring stats as to why your business is growing. And really that advice about don't stop fighting, somehow that kicked into gear. For me, it felt you've got to understand why Kreyòl Essence is amazing and our community that we serve. And I think, there are parts that everyone who watches the pre-video, which Stefan was very nervous about because of the fact that he got emotional and he cried. So he's like, great, I'm going to become a meme now. But instead,
positive meme.
And we didn't expect that. And I think most folks think we get to see the edited footage before it airs. We saw it for the first time when the world saw it. And the first time we saw it, we were crying. We were just like, Stefan, what did you do? So everyone who watches the promo, they're in tears. But I think it was the best thing that could happen to us, because it ensured that, again, back to the authenticity you talked about, folks really got to glimmer about who we are, why our business is important. And I think when people can connect to that, that's how you start building your community and build your business. And, since our Shark Tank airing, we've grown 5 times in, just 1 year.
That's incredible. That's exactly what we want to hear.
Yes. We were in 300 doors at Whole Foods when we went on the show. We're at over 2,300 doors now, with Ulta being one of our main retailers. There was a staff of 3 of us. Now it's at 20 in the US. having our own warehouse, in addition to office space, as well as expanding our farm and facility in Haiti, so that now our 5-year goal is to really impact and create work for 30,000 families. There's just been such growth after being on the show. But I think the most important thing that folks took out of it is that they understood our story, they understood our mission. And that is the first step to, in a crowded market, especially when you talk about hair, skin, and body products, it sets you apart when people understand the why, in addition to the fact that the product works really well for those, with dry hair and dry skin.
Yeah, definitely agree. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing that incredible story. Now, for those of you that are in our audience, if you have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat or raise your hand, and happy to give a couple people an opportunity to ask a question. I definitely have a couple more. So you have grown 5 times since being on the show. I think a lot of the time, a lot of time I get the question, how do you prepare for that Shark Tank bump, if you will? How do you prepare for that premiere episode? Because you as an entrepreneur don't always get a lot of time for planning for that. What steps did you go through to get prepared for that? And I think we'll have a couple of questions.
Sure. So that's a fun question, because our airing happened in January, and it was also significant for us because it was the 10-year anniversary of the earthquake in Haiti. So there was a lot of emotion around that as well. But once we received our 1.5 week notice that we were going to air,
not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time. But we started kind of preempting just in case. We started to ensure that we built our inventory, right? And built it in a manner that, especially if you have cash constraints, at least your top sellers, make sure you have it in stock. If you have an idea that you might air. The other thing that we did, we got a really great tip from a Shark Tank alum, was to get a customer service company. One of the major things that occurs, after you appear on Shark Tank is that the volume of inquiries, really increases. And the worst thing to happen, I think, to an entrepreneur is not to be able to at least respond to your customer base, which then really hurts the trust. So we immediately onboarded a customer service company and trained them within like 3 or 4 days so that they could help with the volume of calls as well as emails that were coming in. Another thing that we did onboard a 3PL, which is another company that helps you for fulfillment. It didn't go as perfectly as we like, but it was helpful to have, a larger company to be able to deal with the increased levels of orders that were coming through. And it happens immediately. I feel like for our tribe, as soon as they saw us walk down the aisle, it was like sales started going through. And I was like, God, every day should be like this. But those are some of the ways that we help to prepare, is increase inventory, customer service, and make sure that you have some plan for fulfillment in order to make sure that you can handle the volume that comes in.
Yeah. Well, definitely great advice there. Great advice. And thanks again for joining us. I have a couple of questions from Crystal Lugo. She says, thank you for the amazing story. How long did it take you to hear back from the producers once you submitted your video and paperwork? That's actually a question I get fairly often as well. I know it differs a little bit for every business, but for you, what was that time frame like between submitting the video and actually getting the call that you were going to be on the show? I
think it was about 2 to 4 weeks. And I'm going to go towards probably more 3 to 4 weeks. And the great thing is, for our producers, they, I would email him and I say, just checking in, make sure you got everything or what have you. He's like, we've got it. But yeah, it took about, I would say 3 to 4 weeks for us. I know that differs for different folks, as you've stated. But they kept us, informed, and that they confirmed that they received all of our information.
Yeah. And that's the most important thing as you're going through the casting process, is to make sure that if there is a deadline, that you meet that deadline. Of course, we understand that you're running a business and you're busy, so things come up, but also realize that there's literally always somebody there ready to take your spot if for whatever reason you drop out of the running for the show. And so, yeah, when
Uh,
you have those deadlines, definitely make sure to get stuff in.
yes, and he's not lying either. I'm like, they overfilm just in case somebody doesn't make it, something goes wrong. There's
Yeah.
always someone waiting.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, our next question, Janae Johnson says, how long did the shark spend questioning you about your business? So how long was the pitch on set? Because we only see a segment. How long did it actually last for you?
For us, because there's so much happening, always with Kreyòl Essence, it was about an hour and a half. So I know folks are like, wow, this, it seems quick because what is it, 10 to 15 minutes that's aired? But it's an hour and a half conversation, almost 2 hours, because we are really getting into all aspects of the business questions. And if you watch our episode, you get a glimpse of the ups and downs that occurred during our conversation.
I've been on set and seen pitches go over 2 hours, especially if there's a lot of questions or if you already have some folks on your cap table and you need to figure out how much room you actually have to be able to get the deal done. Yeah, and it is edited down to 5 to 8 minutes maybe, but it is a full conversation about your business with the sharks, and you're there under the lights. And before we go to our last question, would love to ask folks if you're interested in pitching your business today during the time we have left. Raise your hands. I know a few of you emailed and said you were interested. Just raise your hand and we'll take a look at those and try to get through a few of them before we close out for today. Let's see. Don Demery says, oh, she said she went through the process and submitted a video, so she made it to the second step, but was not selected. She plans to submit again. So I want to clarify here, there is nothing that precludes you from applying multiple times. So we actually just had a woman on this past season, this current season, season 13, who applied 7 times and made it on the 7th time. I remember seeing her at the casting calls, at least at my casting calls, probably 3 or 4 times. And she was, in the running even before I was with the show. But yeah, she finally made it on the show and actually got an offer and got a deal on the show. So definitely don't give up and keep pushing. And every time you apply, we get to learn a little bit more about you, a little bit more about the business, and put you in a potentially more competitive position moving forward. So with that, I'd like to bring up a couple of people to pitch their business. So this is what we're going to do. You will have 90 seconds. We can get through a few people to pitch your business, which is the same thing that we do at our in-person casting calls. What I'd like to hear from you is problem, solution, market opportunity, traction, and for you to make your ask. If you have one, you can pretend like this is Shark Tank and make an ask of the sharks, or you can make an ask of the other entrepreneurs and other folks that are in the room listening to the conversation. So let's see who's raised their hand. Janae Johnson has raised her hand. So I'm going to switch this. I'm going to make Janae a panelist. Just have to give her a second to join as a panelist. Janae, you should be able to unmute now. And if you'd like, you can turn on your video. And hey.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. It's great to see you.
Likewise.
And yeah, excited to learn more about your business. So again, we're going to give you 90 seconds here. Would love to hear problem, solution, market opportunity, traction that you currently have, and for you to make your ask, whatever ask you feel like is appropriate. And then I'm happy to give you a little feedback and talk about the potential opportunities for casting for businesses like yours. So give us your name and the name of your business to start the pitch. And whenever you start speaking, I'll start the clock.
Brilliant. Good afternoon. My name is Jonae Johnson, and I am the CEO and founder of Interplay. And at Interplay, we are working towards creating digital crating experiences for dog owners. So whether it's working a full-time 9 to 5 or running everyday errands, dog owners frequently worry about what their dog is doing while they're away. And right now, dog crates on the market are operated manually in person. The solution is Interplay. By providing dog owners with the Interplay play touch, dog owners can now remotely control their crating experience by dispensing food and water to their dog, being able to see and talk to their dog, and open and close the crate, all from their phone while they're away from home. So our target customers are tech-savvy dog owners between the ages of 25 to 55 who frequently crate, who are frequently away from home. There are over 60 million dog owners in the U.S. who crate, and of that, approximately 20% of those crate, which leaves over 13 million dog owners in the U.S. who crate. And of that, we're looking to target 5%, which leaves us with the potential of having over 630,000 early adopters. So our primary competitors are Furbo, Easy Out, and Pet Chats. And our primary revenue streams, of course, are through product sales, and we're looking to sell the product for about $250 a unit. And we also have a subscription revenue from the app. So we plan to have a free and premium version of the app, and the premium version will be priced at $6.99 a month. Our current milestones and traction to date, we recently pivoted in December, and to date we have developed sketchings, we have a prototype, and then we also recently received a $20,000 grant, and we're looking to do that to develop out and build out beta versions and get some viable testing and feedback. So a little bit about me. That's time.
That is time, but
right.
Great job. Everybody give her a Zoom hand clap. So an incredible business that I think is something that is definitely of the moment. I have 50 friends that have recently gotten a puppy during the pandemic, and they have all been trying to figure out, how do I get this, dog out, this new member of my family housebroken, etc. Are you seeing the marketing for this as connected to the pandemic, or are you going after a wider market here in terms of your go-to-market strategy?
Oh, absolutely. Now I think it's a time to really focus in, because what you said, dog ownerships, I know animal shelters have been selling out, they're going empty. So I think it's a perfect time for us to really take advantage of the opportunity that we're seeing now, especially with a lot of dog owners entering our market. So those are potential customers. So that's something that we're really looking to take advantage of.
Yeah, I got you. Yve-Car, anything from you on her pitch?
I thought her pitch was amazing, and you got a lot in a really short amount of time. I think one of the things that's always important, if you could relate a personal story as to either why you started the business or what problem led you to start the business, it's always helpful. But I thought you did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely great job. And just to clarify here, where are you at in the process of building the business, bringing the product to market?
Yeah, so right now we're in product development. We're starting beta tests, and we're building them out now as we speak. So we're getting the app and the hardware built out. We're developing about 5 to 10 beta versions to get tested, and then we're aiming towards a launch around November, December. So hopefully before the end of the year.
Okay, that sounds great. Now, I want to use that timeline as an opportunity to talk a little bit about the timeline for Shark Tank casting. So casting season for Shark Tank is usually February, March through the end of July. We usually film twice a year in June and September. The new episodes will begin airing in late September, early October, and each season usually runs through the next March or April, just depending on how many episodes get picked up for that season. And so if you are a business that is potentially pre-product and you're thinking about the show, there's still an opportunity for you to be able to grow your business between now and the time that filming might happen, as you think about, could this, potentially be an opportunity for me. But yeah, thanks so much, Janae, for joining us. I'm going to move you back to our audience, and we'll bring up Charles Coleman to pitch next. Hey, Charles, good to see you, my man. How you doing today?
How you doing today? I'm pretty good. And yourself?
Doing well, doing well. And I should have asked Janae this, but Charles, where are you located? Because I know we have people from all over the country joining us today.
Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit, Michigan. That's great, man. Well, just like Janae, you'll have 90 seconds to pitch your business, problem, solution, market opportunity, traction, and feel free to make an ask. Don't forget to make an ask if you'd like to. Give us your name, name of the business, and when you start talking, we'll start the clock.
My name is Charles Coleman, and the name of my business is Walmart Experience. Walmart Experience allows the customer to submit a picture to our website, walmartexperience.com. Once that picture is submitted, we take that picture, we turn it into a canvas, and we add a music system. Our pictures come in one size, which is 24 by 36, and the price on our website is $230. And I'm looking for an investment of $50,000, and that will be used for marketing.
All right, man. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats on what you built so far. And I also want to stop here and say, I know anytime I say entrepreneur, you have 90 seconds to pitch, there's always going to be people that say 90 seconds, that's not enough time. I need more time to be able to pitch. But one, Janae basically gave a college level dissertation on her business in 90 seconds. And now Charles has given a pretty good overview of his business in about half of that time. So there's plenty of time for you, if you know your business and you have it internalized, it's plenty of time for you to be able to share what you're working on and in a compelling way. So Charles, for you, you are selling these custom art pieces. How are you going after customers? How are you getting people to your website to actually place these orders?
It's pretty interesting. I've been doing this product for about a year now. I just recently received a patent for Walmart Experience from the USPTO. And the way that
definitely give him a
thank you, man. That was a huge accomplishment. And basically since, let me see, my website's been up since May. And since May, retail, I did over $110,000, and wholesale, like throughout, the Detroit area, I probably did 60,000 in sales. And the way that I've been going after customers is like a lot of times I reach out to like various local celebrities, news people with huge Instagram followings. And a lot of times I give them a free picture. And with that, all I ask is that they share it on their Instagram page. And usually once they share it, I have thousands of people coming to walmartexperience.com, reaching out to me through my Instagram page, King of Innovation, and through the business page, The Real Walmart Experience. And that's how I've been getting customers.
Wow. That's incredible, man. And so with this funding that you're looking for, are you looking for funding to be able to get, to be able to do more partnerships with these influencers, or is it to get the raw materials to actually put together the wall art? Where would you put the funding?
Basically, I do everything in-house. I manufacture everything. Like I say, I do all the wiring. I turned my basement into a complete start to finish shop. I ship to all 50 states. What I would be looking for as far as from a shark is just growing my business, and a lot of the money will be used for marketing and trying to get into more of like a retail space, because it's two sides in my business. One side is the custom side, which the customer submits a picture, and then the other side of it is licensing, which I would want to do something like with Disney, the NFL, the NBA, the sports teams, and things of that nature, and even working with some wedding people who do like wedding photography and stuff like that. Like my business is endless, man, because everybody in the world, they have a cell phone, they have pictures, and they have music.
Yeah.
So this is a product for everybody. And Brandon, you have a Walmart Experience picture.
I do. If I was in the right place, I would grab it and show it real quick. But, I have to make another post about it here soon. Yve-Car, what did you think about Charles' pitch and his business?
I thought your pitch was great. One of the things that it left me wondering, though, was how is your wall art unique and what makes it different from many of the companies that can reproduce, paintings and pictures?
Well, what makes my product unique is, like I said, I have a patent on it, and I'm the only one who can make canvas pictures that play music. And these pictures, they sync, just like how you would sync your cell phone in your car. It syncs up, it plays Bluetooth from your phone, and it also plays FM radio. And I'm the only person in the United States that's allowed to have this product because I have a patent. So that's what makes it unique. And it's something for everybody, because everybody has pictures, whether it's graduation pictures, pictures of their grandparents, whatever it is, it's something for everybody. It's what the customer wants it to be.
And then do you have a scaling plan? Because right now it seems like you said it's yourself and you're working on everything, from soup to nuts, and you're working within the basement. Now, when it comes to scaling, what's the plan for that? And is the $50,000 that you're asking for marketing, are you also taking into account the money you need to scale?
Far as scaling, the product, based on the materials that I have, it only cost me like $30 to make. So I have all the product, and I have the printer in my basement. I have a person who makes the custom frames. So it's not a problem with keeping up with the demand for the product. The main thing with me is just getting it out there more. Because sometimes I do 10 to 20 pictures a day. So that's, it's not a problem with making this product. The only thing is just keep growing it and keeping that consistency of sales.
Okay. All right. And based on the revenue that you're thinking about, how many pictures do you need to make within a day?
Basically, I don't really have no overhead because I'm doing it at house. So to make a day, it actually right now, every time my machine runs, I make a profit. So to make a day, I would like to do 100 a day, but it just depends on how big this thing grows. As it grows, just say I get to 100 to 200 a day, then I'll probably need to get a building and hire a staff, which I would train and kind of facilitate everything.
Yeah, I think as you're thinking about it from an investment perspective, Charles, if you have a goal revenue, if you have a revenue or sales goal for, the rest of this year, set that goal and then work backwards and say, okay, that means I need to sell this many per month, which means I need to make this many per day. And then you kind of get an idea of how much capacity you need, whether it's capacity with you creating things or, human capital augmentation. So hiring other folks to be able to bring on to help you reach that goal. But yeah, this is great, man. And it's great to see the progress that you're making with your business. And thanks so much for coming up to sharing your pitch. And I hope everybody checks out Wall Art Experience.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So next, and this will be, unfortunately, I think our last pitch for today will be Primus Martin. Yeah, this is something that I miss, Yve-Car. I miss being able to connect with entrepreneurs and hear what they're working on and hear the excitement that they have for building their businesses and hopefully.
I can only imagine because it's like a shot in the arm, shot of energy when you get to hear the amazingness.
Hi, Yve-Car. Nice to see you again. I actually was in Brooklyn at the same, when you pitched that day. I remember seeing you in the waiting room upstairs. So I'm so proud of you. I'm so honored to be on this call with you and Brandon. So yay, I can learn a lot now.
So good to see you.
You too.
All right. So Primus, just like the previous two entrepreneurs, give you 90 seconds to pitch. Would love to hear problem, solution, market opportunity, traction, and feel free to make an ask. And then we will give you a little bit of feedback. So give us your name of the business, and I'll start the clock.
Okay. Hi, my name is Primus Martin. I am the owner of Pettylicious Footwear and the inventor of the pedicure sandal. This pedicure sandal is a 4-pronged toe separating flip-flop that separates your toes. So when you go get a pedicure, you no longer have to wear these with the paper towels between your toes, and that's up smudging your toes. I came up with this idea by running through the airport. I was going to visit my family member after being laid off, and we were having a celebration. Running through the airport to get to security guards, you got to take those shoes off. I said, can't you see I just got my toes done? And the female guard says, yeah, she just got her toes done. But because of 9/11, I had to take off those ripped paper flip-flops, and the cotton balls were everywhere. So came the idea. I got on the plane barefoot, off the plane barefoot in another state, walked to baggage claim in another state barefoot, opened my suitcase, put on my shoes, and I said, there's got to be a better way. So on my way home from that trip, I started thinking, what can I do? Okay, a flip-flop, something we could wear before, during, and after, hence my pedicure sandal. You can wear them before, during, and after pedicure treatment. They have a semi-arch support, which most flip-flops do not. Most flip-flops are flat like this, therefore they damage the ankles. Your ankles tilt inward, as opposed to when you're wearing mine, your ankles are more balanced. And so it saves the calf muscles, the lower back, and the hip muscle pain that we normally get when wearing non-supported footwear. Mine are the solution. It also comes with a cute carry bag, so you can put it in your briefcase. I started my business in 2017. I actually trademarked my name in 2012. In 2013, I received my first patent. I currently hold 6 patents issued. Okay, I know there's so much to say.
No, I love your excitement. I definitely love your excitement. And thank you so much for coming up and pitching and sharing what you've been working on. Yve-Car, let's start with you here. What did you think of the pitch?
About that. I love the pitch. I think anytime you see someone with energy, there's a good story. And I mean, I thought you're ready for QVC. You were pitching things, throwing things back, showing it. And it's infectious, and I think that's amazing. And the fact that you were able to explain that you have 6 patents, I think it adds some seriousness to also what you've been able to accomplish. What's the price point on the sandals?
Well, I launched in Macy's in 2019, and I sold them there for $29.95.
Awesome. Okay. And then, so what are sales like, or approximately how many customers would you say you have currently?
Currently, I would say I have about 2,700 customers. In 2018, my sales were like 28,000. In 2019, after launching in Macy's, it was 70,000. And then launching in New York City for Christmas in 2019, and then COVID hit. So last year, 2020, it was like, you would think because people were home, they could do their own toes and stuff. It was people not having jobs and money. So my sales last year were only about 10,000. So I went backwards. But this year, starting in 2021, is we're in the middle of March, and for products like mine, which were made over in China prior to COVID, now I have a U.S. manufacturer in Georgia. So all of my products are made in the USA. I'm happy about that. But since January, the end of January now, it's only been about $2,000, but I didn't do an ask, but that was one of the things that I would use funds for when I ask, because I do plan on getting a Shark Tank. When I get there, I do plan on asking, and the money would be used for my new manufacturer, which here in the States costs much more than China. So I need 50 grand in order to get my first minimum order here in the States, in addition to social media and marketing, things like that, advertising. I need a team. I've done all of this thus far myself, financed myself, never asked for a PPP. This is my first time applying for a PPP. And by the grace of God, whatever happens, happens. But I feel great about being here.
And what do you think you could do to kickstart your sales? Because I understand, you want to get additional funds in order to increase manufacturing. But one of the things I think is going to be key is for you to show that, after COVID, people are now going back to get their toes done. This is a real issue. How can you kickstart sales digitally with, minimum cost to really show that there is a demand for this and that you know how to market?
Well, currently that's been happening. Again, within the last 2 weeks, I've been in a few digital magazines, which have been posted on social media. And from that, I've gotten quite a few sales in the past 2 weeks. So I'm going to continue to do social media as much as I can on my own until I can get my own clientele or staff. So definitely digital. I'm so used to going to trade shows and talking to people because I'm a people person. So that's really I really didn't know what to do, but like you said, yes, social media, that's how I'm going to keep pushing it as of right now until the sales come. But they're going to come because I'm going to keep pushing and talking to people and calling people and emailing people. And I just won 2 programs and I've met like 300 women in one at Babson College. I was awarded an 8-week course there for business and Enrich Her, another 6-week course. And I've met another 200. So within the last 2 weeks, I met 500 women and I'm getting sales from them as well. Oh, yes, my pettyliciousfootwear.com. Someone asked that. Yes, that's my website, pettyliciousfootwear.com.
I'm just going to encourage you to focus on digital.
Yes.
I think lots of folks have learned during the pandemic how powerful and important digital is when most stores were closed. And one way to help kind of recession-proof your business where, there's some businesses, their sales went up. And you want to be one of those businesses that have the opportunity to do that. And I think with your personality, if you're on social, if you're sending the sandals out to influencers, you might be surprised at how much your business can grow digitally versus the traditional feeling of I have to be in a store in order to, get my business growing. And I think that you'll learn more about your customers. You'll be able to talk about how much it costs to acquire her. There'll be so much more you're able to talk about as you focus on digital, but congratulations on the patent, the work that you've done. I have no doubt that we'll see you do great things in the future.
Thank you. Can we reach out to you? Do you mentor or anything like that?
Please feel free to email me and let me know specifically how I can help you, and I'll see if I'm the best person for you. And if not, I will also be happy to, share other colleagues and folks who could help.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming up, Permise. Always good to see you, and congrats on not only building the business and into a major retailer, but weathering this storm over the past year and making some changes in terms of your approach to be able to stay afloat. And yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing your business continue to grow. I'm going to go ahead and move you back down to our audience. But thanks again for joining us. Thanks to everybody for joining us. That we're going to end the pitches there and close out our conversation, our virtual tank session with Center for Black Innovation. I would love to invite Denasia from Center for Black Innovation up one more time. If you have any closing thoughts, I know you shared your accelerator program, a link there. Close us out with anything that you have to share with folks before we finish up.
Thank you again. This was so great. I've been facilitating these for the last couple months. It was so nice to watch and see everybody's pitches. Y'all, I'm telling you, Black entrepreneurs are doing some of the most incredible work. And it's cool to see folks kind of expanding outside of the sort of purpose-driven, mission-driven companies and following passions and solving problems. I loved the pet crate pitch because I have so many friends who have pets, and that's a constant issue. My sister is actually a dog trainer, so I'm going to tell her about that today. So that was fantastic. But yeah, those are pretty much my closing thoughts. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Yve-Car. Your journey with Kreyòl Essence, Kreyòl Essence, has just been incredible to watch. And I wish you nothing but the best. I've dropped the accelerator link in here a few different times. I sent it to some of the panelists directly, and I'm going to put it one more time for everybody. Please apply. I think we can help a lot of the folks that pitched, but I also think that we can help any of you in the audience. And because we are accepting folks into the accelerator, but we're also launching a pre-accelerator kind of later this spring for a lot of the folks who won't make it into the accelerator and just our overall community, because we keep seeing this sort of gap where folks are really ready to take it to the next level or they're not. And there's 2 reasons why they're not. And we're trying to figure out how to bridge that. So thank you so much, Brandon. I appreciate all of you for showing up. Please come back and hang out with us next Thursday at the exact same time, 1 p.m. EST. We're also on Clubhouse Monday at 6. We'll be doing a lot of virtual programming and other initiatives this year. That's the Center for Black Innovation.
Great. Well, thanks again for partnering with us on our virtual tank event. Thank you again to Yve-Car for joining us today. And the last thing I'll say, if you're interested in pitching to be on season 13 of ABC's Shark Tank, visit sharkpitches.biz. I know some folks on the call have already submitted your information. If you've already submitted, we got it, and we're working our way through those applications. But if you are new and haven't yet submitted for season 13, feel free to go to sharkpitches.biz to submit your information for casting for season 13 of the show. Excited to hear more, learn more about each of you and learn more about your businesses, and hope you'll stay connected to Center for Black Innovation. I hope you will support the entrepreneurs that pitched, and definitely also support Kreyòl Essence and Yve-Car with the incredible product, the line of products that they're creating. And finally, stay tuned for other virtual tank events that we'll be doing throughout casting season. Thanks again for joining us, and looking forward to staying connected. Have a good evening, afternoon. Bye.